Hello everybody and welcome back to Hypixel Skyblock, where in today's video we're going to be talking about how you can earn your first 1 million coins. Coins are insanely important in Hypixel Skyblock, and having a reserve of coins is really important. You want to keep a bunch of coins on hand to basically have more armor, add more swords, stuff like that. That can improve your game experience overall, and I highly recommend you earn coins as fast as possible when you're starting the early game, because it's really how you're going to end up progressing in the game and getting better at Hypixel Skyblock. So let's talk about how you can earn your first 100 million coins. So the first money-making method that I recommend, basically as soon as you start, is go over and punch wheat. This can actually make you 100 million coins an hour, surprisingly, and is really surprisingly profitable. I recommend doing this instead of lots of the other early game money-making methods that people recommend, like actually going through and spending time in the Dwarven Mines and stuff. You should do that just to get the collections that you need, and then do stuff like chopping wheat, just because you will start getting your coins a lot faster if coins are what you're looking for. And after that, you can buy other things that people might say you need, like lapis armor, from the auction house for really cheap, because people resell it after they're done with it, and you can purchase that right up. So it's really just not worth it progressing through that part of the early game anymore. You can basically skip to having a decent bit of coins. And after you've been farming for a little while and you've built up a little bit of coins, I highly recommend putting down your first minions. Minions can make a ton of coins. With the proper minion setup, you can make millions of coins doing basically nothing, and even with a not-so-great minion setup, you can still make a ton of coins. So I highly recommend, as soon as you start, basically, work on getting a minion setup ready and working on having that ready so that you can improve your Hypixel Skyblock money-making experience. If you have some minions down, even if they're cheaper minions, you will be making money from those minions, and that just makes it easier for you to be able to play and enjoy the game. So I highly recommend you get some minions down, just because, why not? They'll basically generate passive income for you. You don't even need to buy materials to make them. You can just use ones that you already got from basically playing the game beforehand, getting those collections. You can use those and just craft kind of random minions. You'll have time to upgrade them later into better minions, especially if you subscribe to my channel and watch my minion guide. But for now, focus on just getting some down that can generate you some money and collection. Now that you've done that, I recommend you start looking at events. Next, what you're going to want to do is check for events. So go into your calendar and look for when events are happening. These can make you a ton of money because they're very fast and don't happen all the time, so make sure you know when they're happening so you can make money off of them. Obviously, with the Season of Jerry, you're just going to want to go around and collect all of these gifts, because once you collect them, they are worth money that you can then use to buy basically whatever you want. So you see, let's say we have these 2 white gifts. As you can see, they sell for 5,800 coins each. I just earned 10,000 coins talking while getting these gifts. So I highly recommend running around collecting these gifts. It's not that much work, and you can make a decent amount of money from it every time, especially if you memorize the locations of these gifts, because they're really not that hard to memorize, especially after you've done it a few times. So I highly recommend you check it out. The Diana event can also make you a ton of coins because people really like the Diana event items, and you can sell stuff like griffin feathers that you can get with just a common griffin pet. So I highly recommend you try that as well, just as another way to make some quick money. And those events can be incredibly profitable, especially if you have enough time to get a snow minion from those gifts. That can be really cool. So remember to always check for when the next event is, and always check for the mayor, because the mayor is a basically different type of event that sometimes they'll have their own special events that can also make you tons of money, especially stuff people like Diaz can get you a lot of coins, because she will increase the NPC buy limits. People like Paul can get you more coins, especially if you want to play dungeons, and just mayors can make you a lot of money sometimes, so I highly recommend you check which mayor it is and see if you can exploit that for money as well as normal events, considering they last 5 days and 4 hours, rather than the normal event time, which is only like an hour or 2. Especially the Spooky Festival can be really profitable, and you don't need that great gear because a lot of the mobs deal damage. You don't need to actually deal damage to them, you just hit them. So instead of it having a health bar, it will have hits, so you only need to take a certain amount of hits on it, and then you will kill it. So like 20 hits rather than 2 million health. That way it's more scaled for easier players, and higher level players so that everyone can kill these spooky festival mobs. After this, you really have two main choices. There's two things you can do. First off, you can do mining or farming. These are two different paths that will dictate how you spend a bunch of time for the next portion of the game. With farming, you're going to spend a lot of time in farms like this, running back and forth to get large amounts of coins. While this is very profitable, it can be boring for some people, so I highly recommend you use Jacob events and mix up what type of crop you're farming just to make maximum profit. Or you could go the mining route and buy mining gear like pickaxes and mining armor. That can also make you a lot of money, especially if you're willing to put in the hours to mine, level up your dwarven mines, and want to get your mining skill up rather than your farming skill up. But you could really take either of those paths. With mining, move into the crystal olives; with farming, move into building massive farms or even semi-AFK farms like this one behind me, in which you basically just have to hold two buttons constantly and you'll be moving back and forth between them. Or you could do a more active approach and do Jacob's events. But there's a lot of paths for both of them, and I highly recommend you look into your options there. But after that, this is where you really start to be making some serious money. And this is where you're getting into more advanced money-making strategies that don't just have to do with standing there and basically farming or mining the same things over and over again. And this is going to be bazaar and auction flipping. As you know, I make a lot of guides on these topics, and what you're really going to want to do is get into these. I highly recommend bazaar flipping, especially if you're an early game player. Auction flipping can be a little bit more difficult and requires a bit more knowledge about the prices of items and knowledge about the game. So personally, I would recommend bazaar flipping for more people. Stay subscribed, by the way, because I actually have a video coming out on my channel in a couple days on an awesome mod that you can use to bazaar flip way faster and way easier. It helps you out a lot. It's right here. That was a sneak peek. It tells you the best flips at the current time and gives you a better way to manage your orders, so stay subscribed if you want to see that. But basically, for early game bazaar flipping, you're just going to want to look and see which items are the most profitable and consistently do those. There's also lots of things that will always be profit or are just usually profitable. Stuff like buying snow and then like reselling it to the NPC that you can actually make a lot of money off of and is kind of slow, but will make you a lot of money. Or you can move into things that are more profitable, like you can see right now. Stock of stonks, not a great investment, but like recombibulators, if you want to flip those, obviously that's a lot more expensive, but there's a lot higher margin there. So there's a lot of possibility for bazaar flipping and auction flipping as a new player, even though it might seem like they have a slightly higher barrier to entry. So if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel because it really helps me out, and I'd really appreciate every bit of support I can get on my channel. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.